BP Hero coming at you today with the fresh release of the DeMarinis. What we're working with is the Davis Billardello signature model Nautalai. This is 240 stamped, 13.5 inch barrel with an end load. Something DeMarini doesn't do a ton is a great big barrel, especially with an end load. So I'm excited to see what this thing is like. Big thanks to him for sending this out so we could check it out. Got Q going to lead things off, and then we're going to get into some swings with yours truly and see what this thing has got. And really quick, how could I forget to say it in the intro? These are available at headbangersports.com. Hit up your boy BP Hero on Instagram or Facebook, and I can get you one of these or one of the other new DeMarini releases that have recently came out, as well as all kinds of other stuff. If you see it on the website, I can get you a better price than what you can see on almost anything on there. This thing was brand new out of the wrapper when we got started here, and the first field that we're hitting on is our usual softball field you're used to seeing. It's basically 290 all the way around, and me and Quentin are hitting just a usual mix of balls here, just some 52s and 44s to get this thing broken in a little bit. This bat features the USSSA 240 stamp and is also approved for NSA and ISA play as well. It is a 27.5, and it did feel true to weight and is advertised as having an end load. And the end load was very unique with this. It was a very subtle end load. You definitely got the drive that you were hitting with an end loaded bat, but it was super smooth to swing. Usually when I swing an end-loaded bat, I really want to gear up and work really hard on driving through a ball. But this bat really rewarded you with staying smooth and through the ball and still hit like an end load while doing so. I really enjoyed that aspect of the loading of this bat. It has a 13.5 inch barrel, which is something DeMarini hasn't done a ton of. And it was a little bit tight to start, but even with having a tight feel, it was still very forgiving. I did find that surprising. This bat does feature an alloy handle and probably did attribute to a little bit of the stiffness to the bat, but it did a good job of giving like a stiff feedback to let you know how you're hitting the ball without giving you bad feedback and really like stinging the hands or making it uncomfortable if you did miss hit the ball at all. It was a good happy medium between the barrel size and the alloy handle being able to soak up and handle and give good feedback on just about everything. We've hit a good stopping point here because we're going to transition from one field to the next. So in between doing that, let's head over to the labs and look at a few things, and then we'll head back to the second part of the video. So on a scale, this one came in at 27.4, and compression testing when he sent this to me brand new out of the wrapper is coming in right around the 320 mark, which has been pretty typical out of the DeMarinis that we've seen so far this year. And after the swings that we got in with this, thinking 125 swings, maybe a little bit more, we're somewhere in the 280s for compression here. And I found that very unique because this bat reminded me a lot of the Louisville Genesis and Jenny in regards to the higher compression, you might say, and still good performance. We'll get into that when we get to the second part of the video here. So since I mentioned it, let's head out and see what's going on with the second round of BP with this thing. So here we are getting our second day of BP in with this bat. And if you happen to catch the Proton Series 1 video that I did where we swung the senior bat, it was on the same day. The elements were kind of against us here. The wind was basically pushing in on us most of the day of BP here. But we still managed to sneak a few balls out of here and became really good friends with the top part of the monster at the 300-foot fence left field out there. And on this day, we're basically just hitting a mix of hard stuff. There's Evil Classic M's, there's Dudley Thunder ZN Pro M's, and some BP Rockets, and a handful of Worth Platinum Dots mixed in here as well. Basically the takeaway is we just hit nothing but hard stuff here since we got the bat loosened up. And I could tell from the first day of BP that we took with this that it was about to really loosen up and kind of hit the next gear as far as performance goes, and it didn't take very long to get there. When Brian and Dustin and I hit, we usually take rounds of 10 swings apiece and just kind of rotate that way. And within the first couple of times through the order, that next level of performance that I felt was coming definitely arrived. And it just got progressively better as we kept hitting it. And I was very surprised to see that when I got it back home and got it on the tester, I was kind of worried because Davis said, yeah, hey, said break this thing in for me a little bit. So you got the tester, so just keep an eye on it. I thought, all right, cool. And based on what the compression was at when I left the house to go hit, I was thinking I was going to be in good shape to just kind of cut it loose with this thing, which is why we made the decision to hit the balls we did. And by the time I got done with this day of BP here, I kind of questioned, like, did we make a mistake and maybe hit this bat too much? And I was surprised to see that it was still just trickling into the 280s on the compression tester, given the performance we were getting. As I mentioned, it very much reminded me of the Louisville Slugger Jenny and the Genesis in regards to that, as far as being so high in compression and still hitting the ball well and feeling very forgiving too. I know I mentioned in the intro there a little bit that for a bigger barrel with an alloy handle, it was tight, and that tight feel was still a little bit of a thing, but the sweet spot expanded a lot, and this thing had just about gotten to the point of those Louisvilles that I mentioned in regards to the fact that you just couldn't miss with it. And probably the thing that I enjoyed the most about this bat was the fact that you could still get that drive with it like you were hitting with an end load, but you could be super smooth with it and control where it was going to go while still getting that push behind it like you were hitting it with an end load. If you want to hit something with a bigger end load, you're going to have to sacrifice a little bit of control somewhere along the way, but spot on in terms of having the best of both worlds here. Even with the wind pushing on us, I feel like I still had a pretty good day of PP with this thing. I know the guys definitely enjoyed their performance out of it as well, so we're going to go ahead and bang this one with the stamp of approval. And I will say these seem to be getting pretty decent reviews. I know Bat Bros enjoyed this bat a lot. Fat Guy BP just posted his review of it, and he enjoyed it a lot as well. And I will say that this is probably one of my favorite 240s from this year as well. And speaking of videos, Davis also has a YouTube channel. He posts content every now and again, and he actually did put up a video of himself swinging this. I'm going to put up the links to all three of the videos that I mentioned up here in the top corner so you can go check those out. And I was glad that I got to hit a bat with these specs, but with an end load, because I reviewed the DeMarini Nautalai mid load back earlier in the year, and I really liked how that bat felt, even with it being a mid load. If you know me at all, you know I can't stand mid loads, but I really liked how that bat hit, so it was really cool to basically take those same specs, put an end load in it, and see what it could do, and I was not disappointed. I still like that bat quite a bit, and this end load made me like this bat that much more. Big thanks to Davis again for sending this out to us. Really can't thank him enough. He's a super cool dude. He's basically been an open book every time I have questions, and it's always kind of fun to talk shop with him as well. I did a podcast with him a couple of seasons ago, and he might be about due for another visit to the podcast. We'll have to hit him up and see what he thinks about that. But that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for stopping in and checking it out. After this video is over, be sure to go down below and make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you get a notification every time I post a video. Swing hard in case you hit it. BP Hero, we'll catch you next time.
Lived it. Never happen again. That needs to go on the book for real.
What was it?
He held his glove out and like didn't move it. It just went straight in the glove.